I was reborn back to 1975 when the child in my womb was 3 months old. I did not tell anyone and quietly had an abortion. However, I still wrapped cotton around my belly every day, pretending the baby was still there. In my past life, my husband Declan Huxley's childhood sweetheart Jane Patton and I gave birth on the same day. She had a healthy, ordinary baby boy, but my child looked nothing like us. He was mixed race, with features of the Valorian people. Declan and I were both locals, so there was no way our son could look like this. Enraged, Declan scolded me in front of everyone, accusing me of cheating on him and having a disgraceful affair with a Valorian. No matter how many times I explained, no one believed me, and I became the shameful woman everyone pointed at. Worse still, Declan reported me and handed in some foreign letters he found at home, which led to me being taken by federal agents and sentenced as a spy. I spent 10 years in prison, and when I finally walked out, I was nothing but skin and bones. Meanwhile, Declan had climbed the ranks for his so-called loyalty to the country. He held Jane's hand and brought along my real son Seth Huxley, then threw $500 at me like it was charity, he said. Back then, Jane was accidentally deceived by someone else and gave birth to that brat. Unlike you, she has a gentle nature and couldn't endure hardship, so I had no choice but to switch your children. This money is payment for your 10 years and your reputation. You have a criminal record, and I already filed for divorce long ago to be with Jane. Seth also thinks you are not worthy of me, so you better take care of yourself. Seth also looked at me with disgust. Mommy Jane treats me very well, and she is not like you. She has never been to prison. I don't want a mother like you. When I learned the truth, the fury was so overwhelming that I had a stroke and died in despair. In this new life, I want to see how they plan to scheme against me when the child is already gone. When I returned from the hospital to the Huxley residence, I ran straight into Declan Huxley, helping his childhood sweetheart, Jane Patton, get ready to go out. Fortunately, I had wrapped cotton padding around my abdomen, so they did not notice anything unusual. Jane smiled as she spoke. Sierra, my stomach's been feeling a bit uncomfortable. I told Declan, and he said he'd take me to the hospital for a checkup. Look at him, making such a big fuss over such a small matter. Declan's so responsible. When you have a baby, he'll definitely be a great father. If it were in the past, I would have fantasized about raising children with Declan because of her few words. However, after being reborn, I only felt duped for actually thinking that Jane and Declan, that pair of scumbags, were good people. Their eyes fell on my belly, and there was not an ounce of love there, only greed and calculation. Remembering how miserable I had been in my past life, while Declan climbed to success and lived happily with Jane, made the hatred in my chest burn even hotter. I said sarcastically, him, a great father. That is not necessarily true. I said I had a cold and went to the hospital, but Declan didn't care at all. Looks like he treats you way better than me. Declan's expression soured as he tried to defend himself. Don't misunderstand, Sierra. You used to be in the military, so you are tough and strong. Jane is different. She has been frail since she was little. Besides, both her parents were heroes who passed away, and she has been alone with no husband by her side. As her brother figure, of course, I have to take care of her. Declan spoke like a righteous man, pretending there was nothing more to it. Before leaving with Jane, Declan leaned back into the room and added, if you are not feeling well, just rest in bed. Oh, and don't take any cold medicine. You might hurt the baby. The first part was meaningless. The second part was his real point. I noticed his gaze once again drop to my stomach, but I brushed it off with a casual reply and went upstairs. Without hesitation, I pulled out the cold medicine and swallowed it with water. What a joke. That ungrateful child who had once called another woman mommy was already gone. What harm could there possibly be? That night, I used the excuse of feeling unwell from the pregnancy to ask Declan if we could sleep in separate rooms. At first, he did not quite agree. It was Jane who convinced him. She said being pregnant was highly inconvenient, and I should get proper rest for the baby's development. Only then did he reluctantly agree and said, Jane's right. If sleeping separately is good for the baby, then we'll sleep separately. Sierra, you need to pay attention to your condition. If anything seems wrong with the baby, call me immediately. If I had not already known he was only worried that if something happened to my child, there would be no one to take the blame for Jane, I might have been moved for a moment and thought he really cared about me. Unfortunately,